Let's rewind. Picture a cold morning in Avalon, France. Not the bustling cities where football dreams feel shiny and far-reaching, but a quiet town where football is still a local affair. A passion shared among neighbors, played on cracked phones, with goals made from whatever's handy. This is where Bryan Mbeumo's story begins. No glittering academy contracts, no viral clips lighting up social media, no headlines shouting future star. Just a quiet kid with big eyes and an unshakable stubborn streak, battling for every ball and every chance. If you'd caught a glimpse of that teenage Mbeumo on the dusty field, you wouldn't have seen a prodigy. You'd see someone working, learning, grinding. France's lower leagues are tough, brutal even. It's a world away from the glitz of League One or the Premier League's bright lights. Here, the stands are often half empty, the games are scrappy and physical, and every match is a fight for survival. Potential means little if you can't back it up week after week. Players get chewed up and spat out. Many disappear without a trace. But not Mbeumo. He kept going. At Troyes in League 2, he found the perfect crucible. This wasn't just a stepping stone, it was a battlefield. The 2018-19 season was his breakthrough, 11 goals in 40 appearances. It might sound modest to some, but in a league where grit counts as much as talent, it was a clear sign he was ready for more. Playing against seasoned professionals, learning hard lessons, and showing no signs of folding under pressure. The scouts began to notice the stats were good, but it was his tenacity, focus, and quiet confidence that turned heads. You could see it in the way he moved, how he looked at the game, someone ready for the next step. Then came the call. Brentford, an English club, famous for punching above their weight and rewriting football's rulebook. They wanted him. Not just wanted, but they were willing to break their club record, paying £5.8 million for a 20-year-old winger no one outside France really knew. That's more than a transfer, that's a leap of faith. For Mbeumo, it was a crossroads. Stay safe and familiar, or take a chance on the unknown. A move to a new country, a tougher league, a club betting big on data and potential. Brentford had a vision. They didn't need flash, they needed substance. They wanted a player who could adapt, who could learn and grow. Mbeumo arrived not as a finished product, but as a work in progress, a diamond waiting to be polished. His first seasons in England were about adaptation, new language, new culture, and a football style more physical and fast-paced than he was used to. He learned when to hold the ball and when to let go, when to stretch the field and when to cut inside. Brentford's system demanded hard work off the ball, pressing, tracking back, helping teammates. Mbeumo embraced it. He wasn't a star overnight. That title belonged to Ivan Toney, a big, powerful striker who carried Brentford's hopes and goals. When Brentford finally climbed into the Premier League, skeptics wrote them off. Small club, small budget, small stadium. They said the drop was inevitable. Then, everything changed. Ivan Toney's 8-month ban in May 2023 shook the club to its core. The team lost its leader, its main goal threat, the guy opponents feared most. Brentford's attack looked vulnerable, exposed. Fans and pundits expected a collapse. But that's when Bryan Mbeumo stepped up, not with noise or swagger, but with relentless, focused work. He didn't just fill the void, he redefined the role. 21 Premier League goals later, he wasn't just a replacement, he was Brentford's new heartbeat. Alongside Yoane Wissa, he built new attacking rhythms, dragged defenders out of position, and created space where none seemed to exist. Manager Thomas Frank's praise was simple and clear. He's the engine now. Watching Mbeumo play, you saw a man on a mission. Tireless pressing, intelligent runs, clinical finishes. He transformed from a promising winger into a leader. Bryan Mbeumo's game isn't about flashy tricks or flashy celebrations. At around 1.71 to 1.73 meters tall, he's easy to overlook until the ball is live. Then, everything changes. His pace isn't just raw speed, it's timing and smarts. He knows exactly when to burst forward, when to slow down, when to cut inside and unleash that lethal left foot. He's an inverted winger who thrives on creating and finishing chances. Not a showman, but a tactician. When you watch him pull defenders wide and slice inside, it's like watching a grandmaster set up a chess move. Every touch has intent. Almost half of his shots hit the target, which in the Premier League's defensive jungle is exceptional. When he misses, it's usually just a hair off, and his willingness to assist as much as score is rare. He balances killer instinct with team play. What truly separates him is his work ethic off the ball. He's the first to press, the engine revving behind Brentford's high-intensity style. Mbeumo covers more ground than most, never shirking his defensive duties. Coaches dream of players like him, leaders who inspire by example. Let's get into the stats because they back up what you see on the pitch. The 2024-25 season was Bryan Mbeumo's masterpiece. 20 Premier League goals, historic for Brentford, a club that fights each week just to survive. His expected goals, XG, was around 12.3, but he shattered that, finishing nearly 8 goals above expectation. That is not luck, that's elite finishing. Add 7 assists and you get 27 direct goal involvements across 38 matches, placing him among the league's top creators and scorers. His pass completion sits at 75%, impressive given his role as a risk-taker in tight spaces. He fired off 83 shots, nearly half on target. Only the likes of Mohamed Salah, Erling Haaland, and Alexander Isak had better scoring records that season, and they play for clubs chasing trophies. Mbeumo did it for a club many predicted would struggle. Football statisticians often warn that players who outperform their XG tend to regress, but Mbeumo's consistency hints at a composure and timing that's rare. These numbers, they're not just stats, they're proof of a player who thrives under pressure and seizes moments others miss. How does a player know if they've truly arrived? When they show up against the best. Mbeumo's record against the Premier League's elite is undeniable. 10 goals and 5 assists against the Big Six clubs. Remember Brentford's stunning 3-1 win at Tottenham in May 2023? Mbeumo? Well, he scored twice, finishing with precision and calm beyond his years. Against Manchester City, Arsenal, Liverpool, and Chelsea, he's a constant headache. Even on off days, his relentless pressing and movement unsettle the rhythm of those top teams. He's not just a scorer, he creates space, chaos, and opportunities. Defenders dread facing him because he never stops, never gives an inch. Mbeumo is a problem they have to solve again and again. Beyond the club game, Mbeumo's story takes a powerful turn internationally. Born in France, he represented their youth sides, but made a heartfelt choice in 2022 to play for Cameroon, his ancestral homeland. This was not a publicity stunt or a career move, it was about identity and pride. Encouraged by Cameroonian legend Samuel Eto'o and warmly welcomed by the Cameroonian Football Federation, Mbeumo embraced his roots. At the 2022 World Cup, he started every group stage game, proving he belonged on football's grandest stage. With 22 caps and 6 goals already for Cameroon, including a crucial strike in a 2024 World Cup qualifier against Angola, he's become a bridge between European professionalism and African passion. His rise is an inspiration for young African players, showing that paths don't have to follow a single script to lead to success. So, what now? Manchester United have circled for some time, reportedly offering over £60 million for his signature. The call of Old Trafford is tempting, the grandest stage, the most intense pressure, the chance to compete for trophies. United's system under Ruben Amorim, a 3-4-2-1 that values high pressing and quick counters, it seems perfect for a player like Mbeumo. There's room for his pace, his cutting runs, and relentless work rate. But the leap? It's massive. At Brentford, he's the leader, the main man, trusted and free to express himself. At United, every mistake is magnified, the spotlight is relentless. Can Mbeumo sustain his exceptional finishing at a club with sky-high expectations? History says that few can keep outperforming their XG for long, but Mbeumo isn't most players. His resilience, from Avalon's quiet fields to the Premier League's roar, shows he can block out the noise and thrive. Bryan Mbeumo is 25 now. That's football prime. Experienced enough to know his strengths, hungry enough to chase bigger dreams, he's gone from overlooked to indispensable, from local boy to Premier League star. His story isn't finished. Whether he stays at Brentford, leading them to new heights, or takes the leap to Manchester United or beyond, he carries the same qualities: grit, intelligence, and unrelenting determination. This isn't a fairy tale with a neat ending, it's a real football journey. Quiet beginnings, hard lessons, unexpected chances, and the hunger to prove he belongs. Bryan Mbeumo doesn't need hype or headlines. All he needs is a ball, a little space, and a reason to run. One thing's clear: wherever the next chapter takes him, everyone's watching. And if you've followed his path from those cracked pitches in Avalon, you know this: Bryan Mbeumo was never going to fade away. He was born to shine.